delivered from Egyptian bondage. God, by the hand of Moses, led the children of Israel across the Red Sea on dry land. God, by the hand of Moses, gave the children of Israel water from a dry rock. God, by the hand of Moses, led the Israelites to victory over the Amalekites in the valley of Rephidim. God, through the hand of Moses, fed the children of Israel with manna and quail in the wilderness. It was God, by the hand of Moses, who delivered his 10 commandments unto the people. All of these things and all of these actions that God performed, he used the man Moses, and Moses was there to witness everything that God did. There was no one on earth quite like Moses, who God had used in such a mighty way. No man that had heard the voice of God as it thundered on the mountain. No man who had seen God's glory and beheld God in his splendor and his majesty. No man quite like Moses, who interceded to God on behalf of the children of Israel when they were stiff-necked and rebellious during their wanderings in the wilderness. No, my brothers and sisters, there was no one quite like Moses, and one would have thought that if anybody was going to take the children of Israel into the promised land, certainly it would be this man Moses. But my friends, once more and again we learn, according to God's message in the Bible, Isaiah 55 verses 8 and 9 teaches us that God's thoughts are not our thoughts. That God's ways are not our ways. As a matter of fact, God says, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. In other words, my brothers and sisters, I'm trying to get you to understand how God works. And in understanding how God works, we come to the conclusion that God doesn't think like us. One would have thought that Moses would certainly be the one to take the children of Israel into the land of promise. After all that God had done by his hand, after all the acts that God had performed, God wouldn't allow just one mistake to keep Moses from taking them into the land of promise. But this just goes to show you that God is ultimately in control, and God has the final say. In our text here in Deuteronomy chapter 34, beginning in verse 1, we have the account of when Moses went up to Mount Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, and the Lord shows him all of the land of the promise. It is described for us beginning here in the latter part of verse number 1. Bible says the Lord showed him all the land of Gilead unto Dan, and then all the land of Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, all the land of Judah unto the utmost sea, and then to the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees unto Zoar. God let him look eastward. He let him look westward. He let him look northward, and he let him look southward. Showed Moses all of the borders of the land of the promise. The land of Canaan was right there in his eyesight. The land of Canaan was sitting there, and he could see it with his own eyes. And that's exactly what God told him in verse number 4. God said, this is the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, saying, surely I will give it thy seed. I have caused thee to see it with thine own eyes. But then Moses is faced with another startling reality, that God don't make false promises. God says, I'll let you see it, but you're not going over there. Are y'all with me? Notice here the Lord explains to Moses, no matter what he sees, he's not going to have the privilege of enjoying it.
Yes, sir.
What was it that happened? that caused God to tell Moses, you're going to see it, but you ain't going to enjoy it.
All right.
What is it that took place? What could Moses have possibly done for God to determine? I know I used you before Pharaoh. I know I used you at the Red Sea. I know I used you to feed my people, to water, to quench their thirst. I know that you are the one I used as a mouthpiece to tell them what they needed to know. I spent 40 days and 40 nights with you on Mount Sinai, giving you my commandments. But at this point, God said, you ain't going over there.
All right now.
What could Moses have done that would make God say, I'm going to let you see it, but you ain't going to enjoy it? Take a trip back in time with me to Numbers chapter 20.
Yes.
And beginning at verse number 1. Let me show you this particular occasion where Moses allowed some folk to get on his nerves to such a degree that he lost focus. Amen. I just thought I ought to tell you this morning that just as Moses had to deal with the Israelites on our Christian journey, we have to deal with some Negroites. Amen. Amen. And it's not those on the outside that causes you so much pain. It's the Negroites on the inside that will make you miss the promised land. And so I just thought I ought to make that comparison to you and show you that in the work of the Lord, you got to stay focused. You cannot allow people to cause you to take your mind off God. Now let's notice here what happens with Moses. The Bible says, beginning here in Numbers chapter 20 and verse number 1, then came the children of Israel down, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin in the first month. And the people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. There was no water for the congregation. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and Aaron. They're thirsty. And instead of crying to God, they are crying to Moses and Aaron. Verse 3, and the people chose. They strove, complained, murmured, went against Moses, spake and said, would God that we had died when our brethren died before the Lord. Ungratefulness causes folk to complain. You'd have heard me tell you this before, but it fits so good right here. Whenever you complain, you are showing your dissatisfaction over what God has allowed to take place in your life. Which is the reason why the Apostle Paul in Philippians chapter 2 tells us to do all things without murmuring or complaining. Whenever you complain, you're showing your dissatisfaction with the way that God is handling things. And so here these people, they're thirsty. They're thirsty, and they come to Moses saying, we wish we'd have died with the rest of them back there before the Lord. They asked me, verse 4, why have ye brought up the congregation of the Lord into this wilderness, that we and our cattle should die here? Wherefore have ye made us to come out of Egypt, to bring us unto this evil place? It is no place of seed or figs or vine or pomegranates, neither is there any water to drink. And Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they fell on their faces, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto them. Watch this now. The Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take the rod and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes. I think I'll read that again, because when God